So the topic we wanted to talk about was the daily life of a medium, large size family. I know for Facebook, I know there is a hiss that is in the audio sound, and so we're going to work to try to get that out of there. But until then, we'll just work with what we've got. The topic is the daily life of a medium, large size family. And a lot of people, consider us as a large family by 2020 or 2021 standard. We have 4 children. And so when people see us, the first thing that they say, like we were just at Costco today, and a lady said, "Is all of those children y'all's?" And so I thought that was pretty funny, and so she said, "Man, those kids are so beautiful," but she was just in awe of how many kids we actually had, and they were all just running around, and we were doing there was a basketball court display that was in the Costco area, just kind of, I don't even know why, it was near the food section for one reason. I'm just like, why is this basketball court near the food section? It was almost as if it was put there just for us. And so the boys, the boys started trying to grab the rim, and at first I wanted to tell them, like, no, stop. You need to behave yourself in the store. But I'm just like, you know what, man, forget it. And I started showing them how it was done. We started showing them how to do a windmill on it. And actually, the people in the store thought it was quite entertaining. They thought it was funny. And so, that's one thing, in the daily life of our family, when you have 4 children, especially 3 boys, I don't know who all is watching right now. I know there's a few people watching on Facebook, and there's a few people watching on Instagram. I don't know how many children you all have or how many boys you have, but listen, 3 boys, 1 is enough. 2 is a lot, but 3 boys, I mean, 3 boys is, it is something else. For those of you that have more than 2 boys, know what I'm talking about. And so, they are always, always, always very hyper, very active. Those of you that know us personally and have been around us, and you know that our boys are very active, very, very active. And so somebody said, "I'm perfectly fine with my girls." I hear that. You know what? Girls, they have their ways too as well. We'll get on Shemaya in a minute, but we're talking about the boys right now. But they are very, very active. And so, one thing that we have to always keep in mind is that they are always hyper. They are always active. And if we're not paying attention, then it can cause a high level of frustration. Wouldn't you say that? Because they're always moving around. Things are always breaking. When I mean always, things are always breaking in our house. As a matter of fact, I break some things myself. I just broke something earlier. I dropped one of these microphones right on a glass cup that Shalani had sitting on the table, and it immediately shattered. It immediately shattered. By the way, we just got these mics from these mics today. They're Rode podcast mics, and so we're still learning how to use them, but we wanted to try to get some sort of a setup just to kind of do things like this. Where we talk to Facebook and we talk to Instagram. Unfortunately, Instagram, you don't get to hear the quality of these microphones. Facebook, you're hearing it impartial right now because there's a hiss. There's a hiss that's going on. But when it comes to boys, back to the topic of boys. Boys are extremely, extremely hyper. Somebody said always our boys are 2 and 1, and it's crazy. Listen, we know our boys were that age too, and we know exactly what you mean when you say they are crazy. And you know what? The older they get, it gets crazier. It gets crazier. Our boys are always breaking something. They're always arguing and fussing and fighting. And those that have boys, that they're very, they're aggressive. And it's not something that is most people, and especially in today's world, they look at aggressive boys, and they have a tendency to try to make it seem as though there's something wrong with the child because they're aggressive, but I mean, the way I grew up, that was just boys being boys. We wrestled, we fought. I have two other brothers, and we wrestled and we fought all of the time. And so to me now, having grew up in that kind of environment, that was just, I mean, that's just something that we did. Somebody said, my girls give me a headache. My boy is a perfect angel. She said, not. That's funny. Sister Blanks, I'm pretty sure, while I was reading that, I was like, wow, she has a perfect angel for a boy. And then she said, not, but that's funny. But yeah, the aggressiveness that they have, it's a natural thing, as we were talking about earlier, the difference between males and females, and how, men naturally, most of them, 99.9% of males, kind of have a alpha dog mentality, somewhat to a certain degree. And so you put a bunch of guys in a room, and you'll start to see it come out eventually. It's the same with boys. Boys are just a lot more quicker because they're less, they're not able to necessarily contain themselves like an adult male is. But it's healthy for them to, play the way that they do, and, are able to wrestle and play fight and all of those things. But you know what? They break a lot of stuff. Just earlier today, the oldest boy, Barry Jr., I don't know where he got it from, as we have probably about 3 or 4 brooms around the house. We go through brooms. I mean, like it's nobody's business, because the boys do stuff like this. He took the handle off of the broom, the actual stick, and he was walking around the house swinging it like it was like one of those Ninja Turtle sticks, like the stick that Donatello had. And I had to get on. I said, hey, put that down. I said, that's how stuff ends up breaking, because you're sitting around and you're just kind of twirling this around. My wife's vase or vase, however you want to pronounce it, vase, whatever. But vases or around that area, and he's just swinging it around and just not even caring. I'm pretty sure he was probably imagining within his mind that he was probably fighting somebody, and if I wouldn't have said anything, then there was a strong possibility that he probably would have broken one of her vases. Vase. Okay. Vase. And so, with boys, I mean, they're just extremely active. And so, in our household, it is just on 1,000% because we have 3 of them. We have 3 boys. And believe it or not, Roman, who is the youngest, he is probably, I would say, he is the one that probably causes and starts most of the fights in the household. Yeah. Now she, I'm surprised she said yeah right now, because she calls Roman, that's her baby boy. What do you call him? Snuggle buddy.
My cuddle bug.
Cuddle bug.
That's my cuddle bug.
Cuddle bug.
We have cuddle bugs.
That's a new one. A cuddle bug. Well, it's not new to me, but it's maybe new to some of y'all. But yeah, but he calls him her cuddle bugs. But her cuddle bug starts most of the arguments. He starts most of the fights, and then he's normally the one ended up crying and screaming, and I mean screaming to the top of his lungs.
In his defense, I will say that they know he's smaller. They know he's the youngest, so they kind of try to bully and pick on him. So that's probably why, he is that way.
Yeah. That, Ashley, that's a great question. Ashley asked the question. She said, why do boys love swinging things? Why do boys love swinging things around like a weapon? My son does the same thing, one time with a billiard stick, once with a broomstick, once with a plastic bat. I have to hide all of them. Yeah. That's a great question. And honestly, I did it. Yeah, I did it when I was a kid. Anytime, I got my hands on a stick, it was used for swinging around and play fighting and doing all those things. That is something that that is something that just boys just naturally do, just like how girls naturally, do girly things. Every once in a while you have this the girl, the boy that doesn't necessarily want to play with sticks and do things like that, and you have the girl that wants to be the one that's the roughhouser around the house. But for the most part, most oftentimes the boys are the ones that do things like that, and the girls are the ones that like girly things. At least in our household it is, because Shemaya, even though she plays with them like that, Shemaya is a girly girl. I don't know if you all read Sister Fields' Shalani's status on Facebook earlier, but she talked about her using all of her hair products. And when I mean all of her hair products, Shemaya will use all of her hair products. Just the other day, she probably, if she could hear me, she probably would be so she probably throw a fit. But, hey, it makes for great content. But the other day I walked in the bathroom and she was just in there just doing her hair. And I said, Shemaya, how much of this stuff, I don't even remember what it was. I called it grease.
Eco gel.
Yeah, Eco gel. I called it grease. I said, how much grease have you used? And she's like, oh, not a lot. I said, I can't tell because you got a big old glob right there on the side of your head. and she kind of was like, I guess that's, I don't know nothing about that because my edges are fine. My edges are fine. Okay. But I don't know anything about laying edges because men we don't have to lay our edges. How we lay edges is we get a lineup. Praise the Lord. Thank the Lord for clippers. No, not right now. It's a little messy and all over the place. But thank the Lord for clippers. But yeah, we Shemaya is a totally different story, and I mean, I'm doing all the talking. You can probably talk more about Shemaya than I can. I just know what I see, and it's just like, Shemaya, that's too much grease in your head. Shemaya, why have you changed your outfit 7 times today?
I guess
she gets that from her.
Yeah, I've always been like that. I've always changed my clothes a ton of times. We could probably call my mom right now, and she would be like, she's always been like that. But I feel, and this is something that I just noticed not too long ago, and I even asked you the question. I was like, does she do certain things because she wants to be like me? Is that why she does that? And you were like, yeah, well, I know for a fact that the boys are the same way. Like, they love their father and they want to be just like him.
Yeah.
So I feel like, they see a man, that's what they're going to try to portray, and not trying to be funny, but you take sticks out and wave them around
only sometimes
the house, and
only sometimes I do
you're
that.
like rowdy, and
I can't be rowdy.
You're the one that brought like punching
I did
boxing gloves and all those things. So I just feel like they're just doing what they see us do and what we teach them. Shemaya is a girly girl. I grew up playing sports and things like that, but I would always have a purse,
Yeah.
I love handbags. I just love handbags.
She loves her handbags, you all.
But I've pictures of me when I was younger. I mean, I stayed with a nice tote or handbag, and shoes. I've being a basketball player, being an athlete, I've always loved shoes, and so I believe as I gotten older, and that has just changed to heels and stuff like that. So and even being an influencer, I feel like they see that, Shemaya sees that, and she tries to model after that.
Yeah.
So with that status that I made today, I'm just like, why didn't anyone tell me that your children will grow up and they'll take all your stuff and use all your hair products? I know when I'm getting ready to, get my hair done, I like to go to the store, and I like to make sure that I have shampoo, conditioner, things like that.
She
So
does.
when I take my hair down, I'll have everything I need because it's a process. And
I'm trying to figure out how much hair shampoo and conditioner does a woman need.
wow,
Anybody?
really,
Anybody help?
really,
I'm just saying.
really,
I'm just saying. Well, I guess in your defense, Shemaya does use up.
Shemaya?
Yeah. I don't wash my hair that often.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. No, I don't. Y'all. Listen. So
I just bought some. Guess who cracked it open?
I used
No.
this much. It was. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it was like this much. This much. I don't know who used the rest of it, but it was not. She's trying. She is.
Thank you, all my natural sisters out there. They're saying a lot. And see, this is a whole nother.
Somebody said a lot. Period.
Yeah. Period.
Period with a T on the end.
Yes. So, and again, that's another topic of discussion. But you do need a lot. But it's just like when you set yourself up, to succeed, and then you go and you thinking you got all your hair products, you got everything you need, so you're taking it down.
Yeah.
And I usually do mine at night when everybody sleeps.
She
so
does.
So to know that you've taken your hair down, right? And you go to look for your products that you bought 6 weeks ago, mind you, hairs last about 6 weeks ago, and there's none left. You used a whole bottle of shampoo and conditioner in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And so now I'm sitting here with no product. You can't do anything with it, so it's just not a good feeling.
I can tell you that I am not the shampoo. I'm not the shampoo taker. I'm not. That is your daughter that's doing that. That's not me, and probably some of your sons because
everything gone. They think it's soap. It smells good. We got the coconut oil. I mean,
you guys' products can be expensive. I'm reading the comment on Instagram.
Exactly. And so you have to think when I'm like, I gotta go get this, I gotta go get that. Guess who's looking at me? He's looking at me like,
I'm like, you just bought that.
I'm like, listen, I know, but it's gone now. 5 girls in this house, we go through one shampoo and one conditioner a week.
Lord Jesus.
Oh my goodness. Someone said that they go through
one shampoo
and conditioner.
Oh my goodness. So that's like, the yearly expenses on one shampoo and one conditioner. Oh my God. That's like, that's probably over $1,000. No, it's probably not that much. You're probably spending about $500 to $600 a year, maybe in shampoo and conditioner.
It just depends. Sometimes you want to experiment. Sometimes you want to try something new, something different. So it all just depends.
And that's the thing, like, because Shemaya's like that. Shemaya, she will like something and then she wants to try something different and then she wants to try something different, and it's just like my boys are just like me, and I think that most men are like this. At least just about all the men that I know, when they get something that they like, they stick with it. And I guess that's just not how you guys operate.
We do for the most part, but again, sometimes you're just like,
We're still on the topic of medium-large family, by the way.
This has everything to do with it.
They said yes, fluctuates brand. Wow.
Yeah.
Because brands.
And sometimes you have to understand how hair works. Again, this is a whole nother.
It is another topic.
But I think that sometimes it depends on your diet. It depends on, like your stress levels, all kind of things. Like sometimes I can use the shampoo and conditioner and it'll work fine, but I may have used it 2 or 3 times before and I liked it, but then there's the one time where it's just like, man, it didn't do my hair any good. I gotta find something else. So things just change, and
and so these are things that we deal with in our household. And it's and having 4 children, 6 of us in the house, for the most part, For the most part, I'm pretty sure even your smaller size families go through a lot of the same things. Like we're seeing some people say, they have 5 girls, they go through shampoo and conditioner like crazy, and I'm sure some of you on Instagram Live has said the same thing. As far as that goes. But one thing I can say, that once when you hit, if you notice, like we are kind of at that threshold number of where this is why I said medium, large size family, because if you notice at the restaurants, the maximum seating capacity that they are allowed to have at one table is 6. And so we are right on the threshold of that medium, large size family, and depending on what we are doing or what is needed, we fall on the large size category or the medium size category. Like for instance, vehicles.
Yeah.
Vehicles, like let's say we want to rent a vehicle to go somewhere. And if you notice, if any of you have ever rented a vehicle, the 5-seaters and below are always extremely cheap. I mean, you can find, when we go to Louisiana, it would just be me and her, we would get like a little bitty old car that's like $12 a day or something like that. I mean, I think one time we got a car, it was like $10 a day. It was some ridiculous number, and we only ended up spending probably about $100 total for the car. That's not including gas. But when we all travel as a family, 6 of us now, that the dynamics change completely. Our budget from when me and her just travel versus when the 6 of us travel, I mean, it's not a double thing, it's a triple thing. And so it's because for a van or a minivan or SUV that's six and above, I mean minimum for a 7-day trip, it's like 600 plus easily. 600 plus for that for us to haul all of our family around on a trip. And that's not included, for a family our size, we have to account for luggage. So a 6-seater vehicle is not going to work because we need an extra seat and a half just for our luggage on top of the trunk size that we need. Because for whatever reason, listen, and this is confession time here. When we travel, if we're somewhere for 5 days, I'm not carrying 5 pairs of pants for 5 days. I'm just not. I'm gonna carry 5 shirts, but I'm not traveling with 5 pairs of pants. And you know what? In my luggage bag, I don't even have 3 pairs of pants in my luggage bag because, how do I normally travel? Okay, so the pants that I travel with is the same pants that I'm traveling back with. Come on, somebody. If there's a brother that's on the Facebook Live, they know what I'm talking about. You got a travel outfit, and then you got a couple of other outfits that you wear while you're there. Amen. Somebody shout praise the Lord on the Facebook Live or the Instagram Live. You gotta have a travel outfit and that gets you to there, and it gets you from where you're going back to your place of living. But when it comes to sister, and I got one brother, he said amen. He know what I'm talking about. Amen. He know what I'm talking about. But this sister and Shemaiah, oh Lord.
Okay.
For a 3-day trip. And I know this because I watch. Wives, your husbands are watching how much you pack. And so for a 3-day trip, she packs a minimum of 5 outfits. And it's like, what do you need 2 extra outfits for? We're only going to be there for 3 days, and then you got a travel outfit, so that's 4 outfits. You're packing a total of 7 or 8 outfits, and she's like, well, I don't know what I'm going to wear when I get there. I'm like, what?
Somebody said they're just like me. Amen. I
know
I'm not alone.
We don't amen that right there. We don't amen that right there.
Do you all pack extra just in case for your trips?
I don't.
Great.
I don't pack extra. The boys don't pack extra, but the ladies, Listen, probably about 60% of now it's 4 boys and only 2 girls, but 60% of our luggage when we travel is the lady stuff. Not only does she travel with about 7 or 8 outfits for a 3-day trip, but it'd be like 3, 4 pairs of
I have
shoes.
to have my shoes.
And you know what? Shamea is the same way. Somebody said.
Yes, just in case something happens. Always come prepared. Thank you.
You know
so
what?
much.
You know what? I can understand that, but I have a solution for that. We have traveled. The Lord has blessed us to travel to a few places around the country, and everywhere that we go, there's a Walmart.
Yeah. And
We shop there. Listen, when we are at home, we don't shop at Walmart. We don't shop at Walmart. But when we travel, Walmart is our best friend.
and they always have the best stuff other places.
They do. They do. They do. I must admit, when we were in St. Louis,
goodness.
they had the best Walmart.
Shout out to Walmart's in St. Louis.
Hey.
You guys have amazing stuff.
If you live in St. Louis, you got to go to the Walmarts and get. I mean, I got some nice shirts, and they were like $6 or $7. Yeah, I got some vests that were like $10, and I wear them quite often. I probably wear them too much, but. But that's a solution there. And so,
Okay.
like, traveling as a large family is already hard enough when it comes to you have 6 people, and then you factor in you factor in the luggage.
Yeah, I hear him
I'm not trying to put no shameless plugs in there, but while we're here, we might as well talk about it. Amen. If you all haven't noticed, we are real people. We are real people that have real issues. Now this is something small. We laugh and we joke about it, but we try to be as real and as transparent as possible, because social media, sometimes people think that, when they look at somebody's social media page, it's like it speaks perfection. But the truth is that nobody's life is to perfection. Not even the celebrities that we see on television or YouTube, whatever you watch, their life is not perfect. They have issues and things they go on. And so, we try to be as real as possible, And we have real problems, and the stuff we're talking about tonight is like, I mean, it's very minute and it's actually funny. We're just talking about the reality and daily life of living of a medium, large size family. But when we travel, it's a real thing that we have to deal with. The extra travel expenses that come with having 6 people. Yeah. Have you ever tried to look up a plane ticket for 6 people? Like, it is extremely expensive. When me and her travel somewhere, it's a relief when it's just us 2, because we don't have to pay the expenses for the kids, which we don't get to do often. But when it comes down to when we all travel, normally, unless the trip that we're trying to take, whereas like if we're trying to go see her mother-in-law or her mother and family in where she's from in the state of Washington, I mean, that's a 33-hour drive, and I'm not driving 33 hours. We were going to at one point in time, and the Lord blessed us to where we were able to actually fly out there, but 33 hours is like, that is a long time to be driving, especially when you find yourself driving most of the trip.
Okay.
Y'all, I promise you, this is not a bad.
Like he brought me on live
I brought you on live to talk about life with the Fields. No, seriously. Listen. I am so proud of her, because the last few trips that we have taken, she has taken the wheel, and I was able to rest, which was great. I mean, it was great. Like when we went to Louisiana, she drove for like 8 hours.
And you guys, I was messed up.
She was. She was messed up, and she still talks about it to this day. But she drove for 8 hours, and I only had to drive 5 that trip. And that was amazing. That was amazing. But the reality of having a medium, large size family, outside of the fact of everything doubles when you have a large size family. Like I said, depending on what we're doing, we're classified as a medium or we're classified as a large size family. And when it comes to traveling, oh yeah, we're a large size family. When it comes to eating out at restaurants, we are right at the threshold. And speaking of restaurants, this is the reason why we are really trying our best to not eat out, because I mean, a bill for us, all six of us, to eat out is extremely expensive. I mean, there is no such thing as a $20 trip to go get anything for us.
Not even McDonald's.
Not even McDonald's. McDonald's, we normally end up spending about $25 to $26 for us. And that's for all of us to have a good, decent sized meal, not spending excessively. Literally dollar menu stuff. Dollar menu stuff and drinks and all those things. I mean, it normally comes out to almost about it comes out about $23, $24 and some change, and so these are things that are real. But you know what, on the flip side of that, we are extremely happy as a family. You know what, I grew up in a household where it was 8 of us. It was 8 of us. And I look at, this is not anything against only child households or a household that had two children, but I look at those households and I'm like, man, I don't know if I could have done it, because, the adventures that me and my brothers and sisters had when we were kids, I mean, it was unmatched. We have so many things that we get together, and when we get to talking about things that happened when we were kids, it was amazing, and so we see our children, sometimes they'll go down memory lane. They'll be like, you remember a long time ago? They ain't nothing but, I mean, our oldest is 10 years old, 9, BJ's 9, Izzy's 8, and Roman is 6. So, a long time ago for them was like last year. They talking about, you remember a long time ago when we were in the yard and we were doing this, and this. And I mean, and they all start busting out laughing. And so, the flip side, even though everything doubles in expenses, the memories that they are able to share, together and have together, and us as a family, being as the size that we are. I mean, I wouldn't trade it for anything. It is amazing. Somebody said there are 7 of us here. Said I had a large family growing up, but my husband was the only child. He consistently asked me, "Is this normal?" I'm like, "Yes, baby. That's funny." Hey, listen, I mean, large families. I mean, sometimes it can be like, man, if we were just a little bit smaller as a family, then we would be able to do more things. But truthfully, we have learned how to budget, when we go places and when we do things. We have learned the value of trying to get our hotels when we go places near shops and near things that are not really expensive, but they are very affordable for us as a family. And we've learned to just make everything an adventure. Like one thing that we like to do, we like to hike. There is not as many places to hike in Indianapolis as there is in other places, but we make an adventure out of everything. And the children, they love it. And it's like, to them, it really means the world, for us to just go around the corner and we just find some woods and we just run through the woods and, and play games together and things like that. One thing that I've learned is that it doesn't really take a whole lot of money to make children happy. It doesn't take any money for that matter. All they want to do is be with their mother, their father, and their family. You had something that you wanted to say?
Oh no, I was just, as you were talking, I was just thinking about there's a lot of snow out on the ground, and I think it was yesterday. We was just going and cleaning the snow off the cars, starting the cars up, and things like that. And I was just like, let's have fun. Let's build a huge snow hill.
Yeah.
And so just purposely doing things to, build memories, have fun and build memories. That's what I think it's all about. So I do love when they say, "Hey, do you remember when we did this?" And do you remember when we did that? Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to. I can't wait to hear them say, "Hey, mom, you remember when we were outside and we got all this snow and we made this big old hill." Listen, we piled this snow up so high, and it was like as soon as we got done, I mean, we were hot, we were sweating, and it's snowing, it's freezing outside, but we were out there for a few hours, and the sun came out,
Yeah.
and it melted the hill.
Yeah, they were all upset, by the way.
So we did all that work, trying to make this hill because Dad went and got some like little sleds and stuff.
Yeah.
For them to sled down the hill. But
$5 at Five Below. $5.
$5 at Five Below. But yeah, so just building those memories and having fun. I want them to grow up and know that mom and dad was with them. I remember there was a time where we call it autopilot.
Yeah, autopilot.
Where you're just going through the motions. You're there, but you're not really plugged in. You're not really focused. Mm-hmm. And so I try to. I'm very intentional about it. Like, I do a lot of business and things on the phone and on the computer. But I always make sure that I plug my phone up in the other room, or even if I do have my phone, that I intentionally put it down and really have a meaningful conversation with them, even though I don't know what they're talking about, but just listening to them and having conversation with them and asking them questions and truly getting into life with your children and really getting to know them.
Yeah.
And I feel like I got convicted on this a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, but some years ago before I started homeschooling. There was a situation at the school that I could feel a little bit, but I wasn't sure. And so, come to find out, the children were being bullied on the bus. Yeah. And so I walked the children to the bus stop, and I noticed like they were, clingy or whatever, but I'm just thinking, it's the morning time, whatever. But I do remember this one time this boy came and he stood next to me, and my son, grabbed on me pretty tight, and he just kind of looked at me out the corner of his eye, and I'm thinking like, oh, this little boy's something else. I didn't know what was going on. Well, to make a long story short, that kid was bullying my child.
Yeah.
And I just was so hurt because I feel like I should have known that. Like, I should have picked that up. And I asked him, I said, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you open up and let me know everything that was going on? And I mean, it was to the point to where I literally pulled my kids out of school and started homeschooling. Yeah. Because it was a serious matter.
Yeah.
And, from there, I was just like, man, all the signs were there. In the school, my son has always had straight A's.
Extremely smart.
I mean, the principal, we sat down and she was just honest with me. She said, I'm giving him third grade math to do because he's getting called to the office and he's bored. I mean, he got in trouble one time for hacking into
the other kids' computer.
The other kids' computers from his computer. I don't know how he did it.
I don't either.
But what do you tell? I mean, how do I discipline my child and say, you shouldn't have hacked into that computer?
Yeah.
Like, so it was just time for them to come home and for me to teach them, really. But just the fact that all these, issues and problems were arising and they were right in front of me, but I didn't feel like I was connected enough to them or have that relationship with them to where they felt comfortable with opening up and actually talking to me about it. They felt like they would get in trouble if they told me about or told us about what was going on. And so now that was an eye-opener for me. Now making a point, let them know, like, hey, you can talk to me about anything. And I know that, you might feel that I'm going to discipline or, whatever the case may be. I was like, but if anything happens, and we go through scenarios, we go through different things, like, in case anything happens, I'm like, you tell me, you can talk to me. And so I don't know where I was going with all that, but yeah, just building
You're
those
just
memories,
talking good.
having a true, genuine connection with them. And listen, there are 4 of them. They are all different. So I have to meet each and every last one of them where they're at. My Roman, he is a cuddle bug. He wants to be on my lap. He wants to love. He wants to
all the
cuddle.
time.
He wants to be cozy.
He never wants to do that with me. Ever.
He wants to play and
Never.
fight with you.
The other boys, Israel was like that with me, but Roman, he doesn't mess with me at all.
Yeah, but I have to step up, and I have to be I'm a mom.
Not in that way, that is. He he messes with me in other ways, but not like that.
Yeah.
Like, he's not wanting to come and and be on me and things like that. BJ and Izzy's more or less like that.
Yeah, and so like I said, they're all different. But I like to, just spend that quality time. I know, my daughter, she likes to shop. She likes girly things.
Boy, does she like to shop.
So, one thing that my mom did with me that I remembered was every Wednesday we would go antique shopping. And so I'm not familiar with antique stores here, but I do make sure that just Shemay and I, we'll go thrifting, and we'll we'll just pick up things. And I make sure that on that car ride that I talk to her, that I ask her questions, not just your surface things, but, I go deep, and I, just ask her things that are on her heart or on her mind, or, any questions. I said, do you have any questions for me? Is there anything like you want to know or anything? And, she'll open up and she'll talk. And I always like to keep that line of communication open with my children, but really, really, really plugging in, getting off autopilot, and getting into their life, having a conversation, with them, learning their personalities. They're so spunky and so goofy.
And very different.
Yes.
Very, very different. There's no similarities. Well, let me not say no similarities, but they have their own personality.
Yes.
And just getting to know their own individual personality, has gone a long way, and really learning how to help them in the areas where you see, because all of us see the areas where our children are coming up short, and getting to know their personality, what they like, what they don't like, how they respond to certain things, has it goes a long way in really understanding and knowing how to train that child up, because the Bible says to train up the child in the way he should go, and when they are old, they would not depart from it. And in the process of doing that, I believe that a part of what will help, raising that child up in the ways of the Lord is understanding their personality and tailor making a plan of action, a parenting plan of action that ultimately, puts them in the best position to be successful. One thing, I worked in the school system for off and on for about total about 6 to 7 years. Transportation total about 10 years, in IPS I would say off and on about 4 to 5, about 5 years, 5 to 6 years, somewhere around there. But one thing that I didn't like about the public school system, and I'm pretty sure many of you can identify with this, is that they try to teach all of our children the exact same way, and it's impossible to do that. It's impossible to do that because every child has their own personality. They have their own story. they have their own background. They all come from different households. They have different they have experienced different things in life, and so there is no, uniformity way of how to teach and raise a child, even within our own families. The message is the same, but the method can't be the same for each individual child. The message is the same, but the method can't be the same for every individual child. I know with some of our children, I've had to become more aware of, if I find myself raising my voice with some of my children without naming names, they don't respond the same way as the others, as the others do. Some are more emotional than others. Some are, some can take a little bit more than others. Some, the way that you get through to them and teaching them the rights and wrongs of life and according to the word of God, knowing how they respond to certain things has really gone a long way in helping me be a better father, not just to my boys, but even to Shemaiah, because that's a whole nother dynamic when you talk about raising girls versus raising boys. As many of you may know that have the girl and boy dynamic, they are totally different. Totally different. The way they respond is different. What it takes to get certain things through to them is totally different. Some things that I can deal with on my boys about, I can't do that with Shemaiah. I have to come with a totally different approach. And in times past, I have been guilty of just kind of deferring everything to the mom because she relates more. She's a woman. But as a father, I have a responsibility to, even when it comes to my daughter, to be there and be available and helping raise her, and helping raise her, to be that young lady, that God has called her to be. And so somebody said, my wife and I will be homeschooling our 5-year-old, and she is nervous that they won't know how to socialize with other kids. Do you find extracurricular activities for them to be a part of? That is a great question. That's a great question. Brother Newman, John Newman, we had some of those same concerns when we first took our kids out of school, as they've been out of school now for 3 years, right? 3 years they've been out of school. And, we had some of those same concerns. And, it is a little bit different for us because there is 4 of them, and they have each other. So they never had a problem with socializing. I'm a naturally sociable person. People always tell me, she always tell me, there's never a person that you don't know. Even if you first met them for the first time, you act like you've known them a lifetime, and that just kind of comes naturally for me. And I would say most of my children, they inherited that, besides one, but even still, he is a sociable, individual. He's a great young man, has great social skills. But some things that we did and that you may want to do, I don't know what state or city you're in, but there is home associations. There is homeschooling associations and groups and clubs that you can actually get involved in. Now, we don't get involved in every single thing that they have because some things we don't want our children to be exposed to, but they have some great programs and things that are completely free. Like here in Indianapolis, the Apple Store puts on coding classes for children. They have like a whole schedule of things that they can do just for homeschool children, that they could take place during the day. And so we would take our children up there and they would teach them how to build robots. And during those times, they were around other homeschool kids that they can interact with, and so those things helped out a lot. And then another thing for us is the organization that we are part of, the United Pentecostal Church International. They have been great, up to, of course, pre-pandemic, as they had to shut down all of the summer programs and things like that they had going on. But they have, they had like kids camp our children, they love kids camp. I mean, kids camp, like my oldest two, they were so excited, and my youngest two were so upset that they couldn't go. Israel, who is he's kind of sitting at that age where he's old enough, mature enough to go, but he's not old enough to go. This year he'll actually be old enough to go, but for 2 years he couldn't go, even though he was mature enough. So they would literally cry because they wanted to go. And so what we did was, we would actually go up to the campgrounds with our children, and we would literally spend the whole week there. We didn't stay on campus. We would drive back and forth, but we stayed on campus the whole week. And I mean, the activities that they have for these children, the interaction that they had, the friends that they made at kids camp these years, so like when we go to other conferences, or I go and minister at some of these people's churches, I mean, they just run up and start playing with kids, and I'm like, well, you don't know them, and they're like, yeah, I do, I know them from camp. So it's like, if you're worried about your child being your child lacking, or your child's social skills, then I would suggest just getting them in as many programs as they can. I don't know if you want your children to play sports, or your child to play sports, but sports is a good way to help their social skills. There's many different avenues that kind of supplement them not being in the school atmosphere. I know that's been one of the stigmas on homeschooling. It's like, if you take your kids out, then they won't develop their social skills. But, we have found that not to be true. As many people that have met our children, they are very lively, and they love to talk. They love to talk, and they do not lack in that area at all. That area at all. If you have a question, you can go ahead and just kind of put it in the comment section on Instagram or on Facebook, and we'll do our best to try to answer it. We'll be on for probably about another 2 or 3 minutes, just to give people time. If you want to ask us a question, we are not the perfect parents, but we've been parenting now for about 10 years. 10 years. Shemaya will be 11. Wow, she'll be 11 years old in April. That is crazy. I remember when she was the only one in the household, and so, but if you have any questions, that you would like to ask us, we are more than happy to answer them the best way that we can. Like I said, we don't know everything, and we aren't the perfect parents, but we do our best to strive. We strive for perfection when it comes to raising our children. Even though we are not perfect and we don't do everything perfect, but we strive for perfection. Is there anything that you wanted to say?
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, if you haven't yet, be sure to follow us on social media. We are on Instagram. We are on Facebook as well. Life with the Fields. Please, please, please follow us. Also, we have a family YouTube channel. So please go like, share, subscribe, do all of the things and to support us. And we just appreciate everyone for the support that you have given thus far. Thank you guys for coming on and watching and getting to know us a little bit better.
Yeah.
We look forward to doing more. There are so many things that God has given us to do. So little by little, we are trying to, sorry, someone is writing me. Little by little, we are, striving to provide you guys with that content and things like that. He's been wanting to do this for quite some time. A podcast type of deal.
Yeah. I like the video podcast kind of setup where people can actually see you, or you can pre-record it and actually put it up, and you can use the audio, but I like the video podcast approach better.
Yeah. And that's just how he is. He's, like I said, he doesn't meet a stranger. On the other hand, people don't believe me when I say this, but I'm actually shy. I am a shy individual, y'all. And people
I don't know
say,
where that came from.
I am on camera. Can I say that?
She was not shy when I met her.
Really?
I'm just saying.
Okay.
She wasn't shy when we first got married. I don't know where the shyness came from.
I don't know where it came from, but I don't know. I guess I have just like this chill, laid back, relaxed kind of attitude.
Somebody said, "Girl, me too."
Hey, yes. I'm just, I like to be behind the scenes, but the Lord has given me a husband with so much talent and so many gifts.
I wouldn't say talent.
Gifts, and you got both, boo. And so I'll share with you all when it came to photography and me even being an influencer. He would just take random photos of me.
I did.
And so he gets up really, really early.
Very early.
And so
I'm guilty.
And so I would wake up. He always had a picture with a good word, right? And I would wake up, y'all, and it would be the worst picture of me. I mean, I'm looking busted. It's just, him. Thank you.
Thank you.
He would just put these photos. I mean, they were so bad.
They were amazing.
And so I'm like, you can't put those pictures up of me. Look at how I look. My hair's all over the place. You could tell I did not, I wasn't prepared for the photo. And he's looking at it, he's like, look how sharp that photo is. Look at that image. Look at that quality. It's so good. I said, you're not getting it. That's me. That I know the photo looks great, but look how I look in the photo. He's like, you look beautiful. I said, okay, I know what we got to do here. So I got to a place where I was like, hey, you want to go take photos? He's like, yeah, I want to go take photos. I said, okay, I'm going to get 2 outfits. I would pack up this huge bag full of outfits, clothes, shoes, and we would go and we would just shoot. And so, I would end up posting them on my Instagram and getting like a lot of feedback and things like that. And so, that's how I grew, as an influencer. But it all started with him taking these photos, wanting to take photos. And I was like, you're not gonna keep catching me off guard.
She was beautiful.
I was.
Yep.
I was.
Yep.
Was?
No, I mean, you still are,
okay.
But you know what I mean.
I'm messing with him. So, yeah, and so that's kind of like pushed me out there in the forefront. And I feel like, you know what, I'm comfortable in that. But now here we are, with the video, which something again that he wants to do. And so
this is fun.
It is fun. I'm all for it, but I could just chill. Like I could just sit back or sit over there and watch him do his thing. But nonetheless, here we are. And so we're just gonna, go with it. Oh, that's sweet. You kept all his mind when your message. I have no idea. Yeah, so that's how, everything has come about. Now he is one of the best photographers. I mean, his work is amazing.
She's my number 1 fan, you all. So
I
pay her to say that.
Okay. But his work is amazing. And I honestly believe, the doors that have opened have been, because of his work. People see the quality of it all and the consistency of it all, and it has led to major doors opening. And so that's why I said, okay, Lord, if this is the direction and that you want us to go in, we'll do it. And so the children actually wanted to start the YouTube channel.
Yeah, they did.
During quarantine.
Yeah.
So that's how we came about with Life with the Fields. And we had a good friend of ours who just confirmed it all. People have been telling us for many years, you guys need to have a YouTube channel. You guys need to have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And so here we are with the YouTube channel, and then people are saying, you guys need to have merchandise. You guys need to have merchandise. So, here we are with Life with the Fields tees.
Yep.
We're pretty excited about that. Someone actually...
This is just a prototype.
This is a prototype, but someone actually made it for us, and
yeah,
we like it. We actually really like it.
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so God is just doing great things, and we're just gonna walk in it. So your guys' support means so much to us. I don't know if you guys know anything about YouTube, but you have to have 1,000 subscribers in order to unlock certain things, and also to monetize. And creating content is very time consuming.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a lot of time, not just to record, but to edit and just put things together. So we appreciate any support that you guys give. If you like things, if you share things, if you're watching, like, we really, really do appreciate it. And we are striving to have fun, build memories, and leave a legacy. We're also building a brand and building a business as well. Many of you all don't know, but right before the pandemic, my husband lost his job.
Yeah, I did.
And mind you, I've been working at home for over 8 years.
Yeah.
So that left us with no choice but to step out on faith and actually start our content creation business.
Yes, the name is Life with the Fields. I'm sorry. Yes, the name is Life with the Fields.
Yes, Life with the Fields.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just saw that.
And the YouTube link is in my bio. And also the link to our Instagram is in our bio as well.
Yeah, and our Facebook page.
And our Facebook page. All of that stuff, if you check the links in my bio, they're all there on my Instagram. And if you guys aren't following my husband, you can follow him as well. Follow us, support. You can like, share anything that we put out. You are welcome to share it. And we just appreciate the support that we have thus far. We are at about 250 plus subscribers.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we started in August, I think late August, early September.
Early September.
So, we, the growth and the, all of it has been tremendous for us, but it is a journey, it's
a journey, but we're having fun though.
Yeah.
We're having fun, and God has opened up doors for, right now I'm full-time in ministry as far as pastoring, but God has opened up doors for me to have this business as far as photography and videography and the brand Life with the Fields. And so God is continually opening up doors, and we are finding new ways and avenues of bringing in more streams of income for our household. Like I said, for having 6 kids, we've never been a family to live above our means, as far as, we like nice things, and, just like everybody else. But, Shalani knows that if we can't afford it, we can't afford it, and God has blessed us to where, we've been able to get certain things, and, where we've been able to build this, still building and growing this business, of Life with the Fields, and photography and video production, to where it has provided income for our household, because, I told the Lord, he actually began to talk to me about taking more of a full-time approach to ministry before the pandemic. When I was at a conference, we were at a conference in Louisiana, and this was before any lockdowns were issued or anything like that. And when we left the conference, literally we left the conference, and before we can even get outside, we were just left outside of Alexandria, Louisiana, and I got a phone call from one of the people that I was over supervising, and they said, "Hey, have you heard the news? They're getting rid of all of our jobs." And so, I was just like, "Okay, Lord, you're just gonna, you're gonna put me out there." And I said, "Lord, well, our church, we pastor a fairly new church. It'll be 6 years old this year." And if you have been part of a new church plant before at any space of time, it's not like a church that's been around for 30 or 40 years. It is a building from the ground up process. And so I told the Lord, I said, Lord, the church can't afford to pay me a full-time salary or anything like that. So God, if that's the route that you're taking, then you want me to take, then you're going to have to, provide the way it means for our household to stay afloat. And you know what? He is doing just that. And so I am thankful for that. As I've just strived to be obedient to the Lord, and also being that example to my children that when God says something, we ought to have enough reverence and respect for the will and the word of God, that we do it no matter how favorable or unfavorable it may seem at that moment. But I've learned, and I believe that when we obey the instructions and the commands of God, then God will give us all the provision that we need, and he will take us through any season of our life, and that is one of my ultimate desires, is to be that example for my children, to where they understand and know that the will and the purpose of God for your life comes first before anything. If you honor God in all of your ways, and you honor God in every area of your life, then he will provide everything that you have need of. As Jesus says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. And so that is something that we strive to live by, and this is just one of those ways of how God is just taking us to be able to, start this business, and he's opening up doors, and it seems like from the most unlikely of places. It seems like when the well is getting ready to run dry in our household, God just busts through another level, and the rivers that are underneath it begin to flow, and it's overflow once again. So I'm thankful for that. Even though we do have our challenges like every other family, and we have seen some dark times and dark days, but you know what? I think that is just a part of life. As Peter said, think it not strange, the fiery trials that come to try you. Those some things, listen, you live long enough, you're going to see some dark days. And I know I done started preaching on Life with the Fields, but this is Life with the Fields. Yeah. If you live long enough, you will see some dark days. But one thing that I have learned, that no matter how dark it is, no matter how stormy it is in your life, eventually the storm is going to cease, and the clouds are going to split, and the sun is going to shine again. The sun is going to shine again. And when the sun shines again, the things that you went through in the storm, they will no longer be present. But yet everything that God has promised you will be there for you and at your disposal. And so we're going to jump off here. Somebody said I've got to jump off. Love y'all. We love you too. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. But we are going to jump off. I see Lori Kimmons just commented on. She's the mother of one of my childhood friends. Adam Kimmons, is great to see you. Thank you for being on with us. We love you all. We plan on doing these more often. We'll probably try to put out a schedule or something with topics and things that we're going to talk about, for you all, because I think that if we can say something to help anybody in their circumstance, their situation, their family dynamics, we want to do that, because I believe, that with the things that God has blessed us with and the knowledge that he has given us, even though we do not know everything, and I don't profess to know everything, but the knowledge and wisdom that God has given us, we don't want to keep it to ourselves, but we want to share it with all of those that are willing to listen and apply it to their lives, and so we want to be a blessing to you all. We love you too, Lori. We love you too, Miss Kimmons. We love you and your family. Hope you all are well. And hopefully we'll get to see you all soon. All right, we are getting ready to jump off here, you all. God bless you all. Until next time, see ya.